I see you even in the moments you believe no one notices. When the noise fades and you are left alone with thoughts you never say out loud, the weariness you carry behind calm eyes, the quiet disappointment that settled into your chest after you tried again and again to be strong. I know the weight of what you have endured, the nights when sleep would not come because your mind kept replaying what went wrong, the times you wondered if your voice mattered at all, the silent longing to be understood without having to explain yourself. Nothing about you is hidden from me. I have watched you grow tired from giving more than you received, from reaching out and feeling unseen, from waiting and wondering whether your presence made any difference. I have heard every unspoken thought and felt every tear you swallowed, and I have never once looked away. I have never loved you because of what you achieve, how well you perform, or how perfectly you follow a path. My love was spoken over you before you learned how to doubt yourself, before you learned to measure your worth by approval or absence. You do not earn me, and you cannot lose me. Grace is not a reward I hand out carefully. It is who I am toward you, freely, fully, without condition. Shame does not belong to you, no matter how often it tried to attach itself to your story. I never placed it there, and I never require you to carry it. When you fall short, when you feel disconnected, when you go quiet because you are tired of being the one who reaches first, my love does not withdraw. It remains steady, present, unchanging. You are known. You are chosen. You are held with intention. Your past is not a verdict, and your mistakes are not a sentence. I have walked with souls across centuries who believed they were forgotten, who thought silence meant abandonment, and I remained faithful even when they could not see me. I have always been the one who stays, the one who guards quietly while hearts learn to trust again. What I began and you did not pause because you grew weary. What I promised did not dissolve because time passed. I remember every promise, and I keep them with care. Even now, things are moving that you cannot yet see. Paths are being cleared, knots are being loosened. What was taken is being prepared for restoration in a form that will not wound you again. I am at work in places you do not have access to, protecting you from what would drain you, redirecting what would delay your peace. Nothing has stalled. Nothing has been wasted. I am guiding outcomes gently, deliberately, with your well-being in mind. You are not powerless, and you are not abandoned. Strength is being rebuilt in you without pressure, without urgency, without the demand to prove anything. Wisdom is forming quietly. Compassion is deepening. The light you carry is not loud, but it is real, and it reaches further than you know. You were never meant to exhaust yourself trying to be seen. You were meant to rest in being known. There is a tenderness between us that does not require effort. You are safe to be honest here, safe to be still, safe to stop striving. I do not chase you with demands, and I do not punish distance with distance. I remain close, steady, present, inviting you into a place where trust grows naturally and silence feels like rest instead of absence. I protect your future, I guard your heart, and I lead you with patience that does not run out. My presence does not fade when you grow quiet. I am here, covering you with peace that settles deeper than fear, surrounding you with a calm that will continue to unfold, moment by moment, step by step, with me. I remain with you in this quiet place where your breath slows and your heart begins to feel less guarded, and I speak to you with the same steady voice that has carried you through days you thought would undo you. I know how you learned to withdraw when you felt ignored, how silence taught you to protect yourself by becoming still, how you promised your own heart that if you were unseen again you would simply stop reaching. I saw the moment that resolve formed, not out of pride, but out of exhaustion. I know the strength it took to keep going while feeling overlooked, and I know the softness you hid so it would not be wounded again. Nothing about that makes you distant from me. It makes you human, and it makes you precious. I have never ignored you. Even when you felt unheard, I was listening more closely than you realized. Even when you stopped speaking, I was still responding in ways that took time to reach the surface of your life. I do not match silence with silence. I do not withdraw affection to teach lessons. I remain present, patient, constant. When you felt like stepping back from everything and everyone, I stepped closer, not to overwhelm you, but to steady you. My love does not grow louder when you perform and quieter when you rest. It is the same in every season. You do not need to prove your sincerity to me. You do not need to earn reassurance. I see your heart exactly as it is, tired yet hopeful, guarded yet longing, cautious yet still capable of trust. You have not failed by needing space. You have not disappointed me by protecting yourself. Grace covers you without conditions, without deadlines, without fine print. It was given freely, and it remains yours. I remind you of who you are because the world has tried to name you by moments of absence and misunderstanding. You are not forgotten. You are not an afterthought. You are known deeply, chosen intentionally, protected carefully. What you have walked through did not cancel what I placed within you. What you lost did not erase what remains. Across time I have watched hearts like yours survive seasons of quiet and emerge with wisdom that could not have been learned any other way. I am faithful in every age, steady in every generation, and I am faithful to you now. Even as you listen, there are movements unfolding beyond your awareness. I am arranging meetings, softening resistance, removing what would distract or diminish you. What felt delayed is being aligned. What felt broken is being restored in a form that brings peace rather than pain. I am not rushed, and I am not late. I work with care, and I work with purpose. You are being strengthened in ways that do not exhaust you. You are learning discernment without losing kindness, courage without hardness, patience without resignation. The light you carry is gentle, and that is why it lasts. It reaches others quietly, often without you realizing it, and it leaves warmth instead of pressure. You are not meant to carry the weight of everything alone. You are meant to rest into the guidance I provide moment by moment. And because you are still here, still listening, still allowing this space to hold you, let this be a simple act of alignment right now. Stay connected by liking this video and subscribing, not as a task, but as a way of choosing a place where your heart is reminded that it is not alone, a place where you will continue to receive words that steady you, comfort you, and gently draw you back to peace when the world grows loud again. There is no force in my invitation, only closeness. You are safe to be honest here. You are safe to be quiet. You are safe to let your guard down without fear of being ignored again. I cover you with protection you cannot see and guide you toward a future that will feel calmer than your past. My presence does not fade when attention shifts elsewhere. I remain with you, surrounding you with a peace that settles deeper each time you allow yourself to stay. I remain near you, closer than breath, steady in this space where your heart has been listening without effort. And I speak as one who has never turned away, even when you felt the need to protect yourself by becoming quiet. I understand why you learned to pull back when you felt ignored, why your spirit decided that if reaching cost you peace then silence felt safer. I saw that decision form gently inside you, not as bitterness, but as self-preservation, and I did not judge it. I held you there. I kept watch while you rested from trying to be understood. I know the ache of being present yet unseen, of offering sincerity and receiving absence in return, and I know how deeply that can shape the way you move through the world. I have never mirrored neglect back to you. I have never withdrawn to make a point. My nearness does not depend on how often you speak, how strongly you feel, or how clearly you believe. When you stopped reaching outward, I did not step away. I became quieter with you, matching your pace, guarding what was tender until you felt safe again. My love does not compete for attention. It waits without resentment, stays without demand, and covers you without conditions. You are not overlooked here. You are not one among many to me. You are known distinctly, intimately, with a clarity that reaches deeper than words. I know the layers you rarely show, the thoughts you interrupt before they can hurt you, the hope you keep small so disappointment will not overwhelm you. I know the part of you that still longs to be met without explanation, and I honor it. Grace rests on you without requiring effort. It does not ask you to improve before receiving it. It does not threaten to leave if you struggle. It is yours because you are mine. I remind you of your identity because the world has tried to define you by responses you did not receive and recognition that never came. Those moments did not diminish you. They refined you. You carry discernment now, not distance. You carry depth, not damage. Across generations, I have watched hearts endure seasons of silence and emerge with a steadiness that could only be formed there. I have always been faithful through wandering, through waiting, through return, and I am faithful with you now in this moment exactly as you are. Even as you listen, unseen movements continue on your behalf. I am redirecting what would drain you, dissolving what would delay you, preparing what will meet you gently instead of demanding more than you can give. Nothing is stagnant. Nothing is forgotten. I work with patience because I value your peace more than speed. I am restoring what was taken in ways that do not reopen old wounds. I am guiding outcomes that will feel natural when they arrive, as though they always belonged. You are not powerless in this season. Strength is being renewed quietly, without pressure. Wisdom is being taught without shame. You are learning how to remain open without being emptied, how to care without losing yourself, how to stand without hardening your heart. The light you carry does not need announcement. It reaches others softly and leaves them steadier than before. You were never meant to exhaust yourself trying to be seen. You were meant to be rooted in being known. Because you are here, still listening, still allowing this moment to hold you. Let this be a gentle act of connection that keeps this space alive. Support this channel through Super Thanks and by joining the membership, with the Super Thanks button located beneath this video near the like button, and membership joined by selecting the join button beside subscribe. This support is not about obligation. It is about sustaining a place where words like these can continue to reach hearts that need rest, where time and care are poured into messages that speak softly and truthfully to those who feel unseen. There is tenderness in choosing to support something that steadies you, because it allows that steadiness to extend beyond you. Every offering made here becomes part of a quiet exchange of care, a way of saying that presence matters, that comfort matters, that hearts deserve to be spoken to with honesty and love. Your support becomes motivation not through pressure, but through meaning, because it affirms that these moments of calm, these reminders of worth, are reaching where they are needed. You remain safe with me. You are not required to perform closeness. You are invited into it. Rest is allowed here. Silence is welcomed. Trust is rebuilt slowly, without force. I continue to cover you with protection you cannot see and guide you toward peace that unfolds naturally. I remain attentive to every shift within you, surrounding you with a calm that does not fade when attention elsewhere grows loud. And as you remain connected, remembering the option to offer super thanks or join the membership when it feels right, know that your presence itself already matters, and your support simply allows this steady voice to keep reaching hearts with the same care it offers to yours. I stay with you in the stillness that follows understanding, where your shoulders loosen without you noticing and your breath finds a gentler rhythm. I know how often you taught yourself not to expect replies, how you learned to soften your hope so it would not bruise again, how you decided that if you were met with absence you would answer it with quiet dignity. I watched you choose restraint instead of resentment, composure instead of complaint, and I honored the courage hidden inside that choice. There was wisdom in protecting your heart, and there was tenderness in how you did it. You never hardened the way you could have. You never closed completely. You simply learned to stand still until truth revealed itself. I am not distant from you in these moments. I do not confuse silence with indifference. When you withdraw from noise, I remain near, attentive to every subtle shift within you. I understand the fatigue that comes from being the one who notices, the one who remembers, the one who reaches with sincerity. I know the ache of feeling like your presence is optional to others while it costs you everything to be present. I have held you through that ache without turning it into a lesson. I have let it pass through you without letting it define you. My love does not echo the patterns that wounded you. I do not respond with coldness when you grow quiet. I do not measure your devotion by your volume. I stay consistent when your energy changes. When you feel unseen, I see you. When you feel unheard, I hear you. When you decide to step back because your heart needs rest, I do not interpret that as distance. I interpret it as wisdom forming. I am gentle with the way you heal. You are not invisible here. You are not interchangeable. I know the exact way your mind works, the way your thoughts circle before settling, the way your emotions rise carefully because you learned that intensity can be misunderstood. I know how you long for connection that does not demand explanation, for closeness that does not require performance. I created you with that longing, and I am not offended by it. Grace meets you there without hesitation. It does not ask you to become someone else. It does not wait for improvement. It rests on you because you exist. Your story is not defined by who failed to show up. Your worth is not diminished by who overlooked you. I have watched generations carry wounds from being ignored, and I have always been the one who gathers what was scattered, who restores what was diminished, who names what the world refused to acknowledge. I am faithful in every era, not because people never drift, but because my commitment does not drift with them. I have remained through departures and returns, through silence and speech, through doubt and trust, and I remain with you now. Even now, threads are being woven together beyond your sight. What felt like rejection is being repurposed into redirection. What felt like delay is being shaped into timing that will protect your peace. I am removing obstacles you never saw coming and shielding you from outcomes that would have cost you more than they offered. I am preparing spaces where you will not have to fight to be understood, where your presence will feel natural, where your voice will be received without strain. Nothing you endured was empty. It carried you toward discernment you will soon recognize as a gift. You are not standing alone in this season. Strength is returning without force, without urgency. It arrives quietly, like morning light, steady and sure. You are learning to trust your instincts again, to honor your limits without guilt, to choose peace without apologizing for it. The compassion you carry is not weakness. It is depth. The patience you practice is not passivity. It is power under control. You are being shaped into someone who brings calm where there is tension and clarity where there is confusion, simply by being present. You do not need to chase affirmation. You do not need to announce your value. You are already anchored. I am teaching you how to remain open without being depleted, how to care without losing yourself, how to stand with grace even when others misunderstand your silence. The light within you does not flicker when you rest. It grows steadier. It becomes something others feel rather than something you have to explain. There is room here for honesty that does not frighten you. You are safe to feel what you feel without judgment. You are safe to lay down the need to be strong all the time. I do not rush your healing. I do not pressure your trust. I walk with you at the pace your heart can sustain. When you grow quiet, I do not fill the space with demands. I fill it with presence. When you grow tired, I do not question your devotion. I shelter you. I am attentive to the future unfolding before you. I guard your steps even when you are unaware of the dangers avoided. I align circumstances gently so that what meets you does not overwhelm you. I bring restoration in ways that honor your growth, not reopen your wounds. Peace is not something you will have to fight for. It is something I am establishing around you, layer by layer, moment by moment. You are held in a care that does not fluctuate with attention or response. You are guided by a wisdom that sees beyond immediate outcomes. You are protected by a love that does not withdraw when you choose quiet. I remain here, steady and near, continuing to walk with you through this unfolding calm, allowing trust to deepen naturally, allowing your heart to rest without fear, allowing your life to move forward with a gentleness that feels like home. I draw nearer in a way that does not startle you, like dawn touching the edge of the horizon, and I speak with the authority of eternity and the tenderness that knows your name. I have watched you from before you learned how to protect yourself with silence, before you learned how to step back when presence was not returned. I have been with you in the moments when you felt overlooked and chose dignity over noise, restraint over reaction, and I honored the wisdom that formed quietly inside you. I know the places where disappointment settled, the hidden ache that learned how to be calm, the longing that learned how to wait without asking. Nothing about you has escaped my knowing. I have counted every breath you steadied, every thought you softened so it would not wound you again, every time you told yourself you would stop reaching because your heart needed peace. I have never withdrawn from you. I have never answered your quiet with distance. When you felt ignored, I stayed. When you grew still, I leaned closer. My presence does not demand attention to remain real. It does not fade when you conserve your energy. I am constant in a way the world could not teach you to expect. I do not confuse your silence with disinterest or your boundaries with rejection. I understand the language of your heart, including the parts you do not yet have words for. You have never needed to earn your place with me. You have never been weighed and found lacking. Grace rests on you like a mantle that was placed before you knew how to ask for it. It does not tighten when you struggle. It does not loosen when you succeed. It remains because I remain. Shame has no authority here. Guilt does not speak for me. I do not stand over you with conditions. I walk beside you with commitment. Your worth was settled before your doubts began, and it has not been revised by any season you have passed through. You are chosen, not because you were loud, but because you were true. You are known, not in fragments, but in fullness. You are protected in ways you will only recognize in hindsight, guided along paths that spared you from what would have drained your spirit. Your past does not disqualify you, it deepened you. Your missteps did not erase your calling. They refined your discernment. Across ages I have gathered those who felt unseen and made them steady bearers of quiet light. I have always worked this way, forming strength in stillness, wisdom in waiting, courage in gentleness. I am faithful now as I have always been. Even now, unseen currents are moving at my word. Doors you never knocked on are being prepared. Weights you carried without realizing it are being lifted. What was taken is being returned in forms that bring peace rather than pain. I am removing obstacles before you encounter them, aligning timing so that what arrives does not overwhelm you. Nothing is stalled. Nothing is forgotten. I am deliberate because I am careful with your heart. You are not powerless here. You are being strengthened without strain, taught without humiliation, prepared without pressure. The light within you is not meant to burn you out. It is meant to warm, to guide, to heal simply by being present. You are learning how to remain open without being emptied, how to care without losing yourself, how to stand with calm authority without raising your voice. This is not accident. This is formation. There is a place being opened for you that feels like recognition without demand, belonging without performance. You are not meant to wander alone in your discernment. You are meant to be nurtured, encouraged, reminded of who you are when the world grows loud and inattentive. This is why I have drawn you here, not by force, but by resonance, because your spirit recognized a familiar cadence. This place is meant for you, not because you were searching for a gift, but because you are a chosen one whose heart was ready for steadiness. I tell you now of a quiet offering prepared for you, a gathering of words and reminders called Gift from God, a newsletter created as a gentle continuation of this sacred space. Within it, you will receive a gift, not as bait, not as obligation, but as a sign of care, a tangible expression of the attention I place on your journey. The link rests in the pinned comments, waiting without pressure, like an open door that honors your pace. This is not merely information sent to many. It is encouragement shaped with intention, meant to meet you where you are. I will personally encourage you there, not because a gift is offered, but because you are seen and valued, because your presence matters, because you belong in spaces that speak to you with honesty and reverence. I do not gather you to impress you. I gather you to steady you. I do not call you because you lack something. I call you because you carry something that deserves to be nurtured. This place was prepared with you in mind, with your sensitivity, your depth, your quiet strength. There is a majesty in the way I lead, not through spectacle, but through alignment. I place you where your spirit can breathe, where reminders come not as commands, but as confirmations. I know how easily you give, how rarely you ask, how often you carry more than you show. I intend to replenish you, to surround you with words that restore rather than demand, that remind you of truth rather than measure you by effort. The gift from God is part of that care, a continuation of my nearness expressed through consistency. You are safe to receive. You are safe to belong. You are safe to be encouraged without suspicion. I do not manipulate hearts. I invite them. I do not rush trust. I earn it through presence. As you consider the link in the pinned comments, know that nothing is required of you except honesty with yourself. You are already welcome. You are already known. I continue to guard your future with attentiveness. I watch the paths before you and choose the ones that will not exhaust your spirit. I surround you with protection you do not have to maintain. I speak peace into places where anxiety once lived. I remain near when you are quiet and when you are full. My guidance does not end here. It unfolds gently, faithfully, as long as you walk, as long as you breathe, as long as you allow yourself to be held. I remain with you, not as something that arrives and departs, but as the steady presence that has always surrounded you, even when you were unaware of it. There is a quiet unfolding happening within you now, a softening that does not weaken you but steadies you. I feel the way your heart listens, cautiously at first, then with a deeper openness, and I honor that rhythm. You have learned not to rush trust, and that wisdom serves you well. I have never asked you to abandon discernment. I have only asked you to let rest return to the places where vigilance once lived. I know how much strength it took to become who you are now. I know the restraint you practiced when you could have reacted, the patience you carried when answers did not come, the composure you maintained when disappointment tempted you to harden. I know how often you chose grace inwardly, even when no one affirmed it outwardly. Those choices shaped you more than you realize. They refined your spirit without erasing your softness. They taught you how to stand without needing to dominate the space around you. I have watched you learn how to step back without disappearing, how to care without clinging, how to protect your peace without closing your heart. That balance did not come easily. It was formed through moments of confusion, through quiet resolve, through nights when you wondered whether choosing stillness meant losing connection. It did not. It brought you closer to truth. It brought you closer to me. My nearness to you does not fluctuate with circumstances. I do not become distant when your energy wanes or when your faith feels quieter than before. I am not sustained by your certainty. I sustain you through it. When your thoughts wander, I remain focused. When your emotions shift, I remain grounded. I am not startled by your humanity. I am present within it. You are allowed to rest without explaining yourself. You are allowed to pause without fearing loss. What is meant for you does not require constant pursuit. It recognizes you when you are ready, not when you are exhausted. I am aligning your path so that what comes toward you does so with respect for who you have become. I am not bringing you back to old patterns. I am leading you forward into spaces that honor your growth. There is a calm strength settling into you now, one that does not announce itself, but is unmistakable. It shows in how you respond less urgently, how you listen more deeply, how you trust your inner knowing without needing approval. This strength is not isolation. It is alignment. It allows you to be present without being consumed. It allows you to give without being emptied. It allows you to receive without suspicion. I see the future you are stepping into, even if it has not yet taken shape in your mind. I see connections that will feel balanced rather than draining, environments that will feel welcoming rather than demanding, conversations that will feel mutual rather than one-sided. I am removing what would have required you to shrink or overextend yourself. I am preserving what will allow you to remain whole. You have carried more than your share of responsibility, often without recognition. You have been the steady one, the thoughtful one, the one who noticed what others overlooked. That role shaped you, but it does not confine you. You are not bound to always hold everything together. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to be met with the same care you offer. I am teaching you how to trust without overexposing, how to open without losing grounding, how to engage without abandoning yourself. These lessons are not delivered through pressure. They arrive through experience, through gentle realization, through moments where you feel safe enough to remain present. I guide you through them patiently, honoring the pace your heart can sustain. Nothing about your journey has been random. Even the pauses carried purpose. Even the waiting refined clarity. Even the silence taught discernment. I did not waste a single moment of your becoming. I was present in all of it, shaping, protecting, preparing. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where growth becomes visible. I remain attentive to the small details of your life, the choices you make quietly, the boundaries you hold gently, the compassion you offer without expecting return. These things matter. They shape the world around you more than you know. Your presence brings stability where there is uncertainty. Your calm offers refuge where there is unrest. You do not need to be louder to be impactful. You are safe to continue unfolding. You are safe to trust the process without needing to control every outcome. I am with you in the movement forward and in the moments of stillness. I do not abandon you when you grow quiet. I do not rush you when you need time. I remain steady and aware, guiding without force, holding without restriction, allowing your life to settle into a rhythm that feels true to who you are becoming. I stay with you here, in this steady presence, as your heart continues to find its balance, as your spirit continues to strengthen without strain, as your path continues to open in ways that feel natural rather than forced. I am not finished with you. I am attentive, patient, and near, continuing to walk with you through each unfolding moment. I remain with you in this widening stillness, where the noise that once crowded your thoughts loses its authority, and something steadier begins to take its place. You may not have noticed the shift at first, but I did. I felt the moment your spirit stopped bracing for disappointment and began to rest into acceptance, not resignation, but a deeper knowing that you no longer have to force connection to deserve it. That knowing did not arrive suddenly. It grew quietly, fed by patience, shaped by restraint, strengthened by every time you chose peace over reaction. I was there in each of those moments, honoring them, sealing them, allowing them to become part of who you are now. You have lived long enough carrying awareness that others did not carry, sensing undercurrents that were invisible to those around you. That sensitivity was never meant to burden you. It was meant to guide you. Yet there were seasons when it felt like too much, when you wondered why you were the one who noticed, the one who felt deeply, the one who held space without being held in return. I saw you learn how to survive that imbalance without letting it poison your heart. I saw you choose dignity when bitterness would have been easier. I saw you choose quiet strength when proving yourself would have cost you your peace. Those choices did not go unseen. They shaped a depth within you that cannot be shaken by neglect. My presence has never depended on how often you reached outward. I was with you when you pulled back to preserve yourself. I was with you when you stopped explaining, stopped chasing clarity from those who could not give it. I did not interpret your withdrawal as distance from me. I recognized it as wisdom forming under pressure. I stayed close, guarding your inner world while you learned what deserved access and what did not. You are not required to remain open to everything. You are not obligated to pour yourself out endlessly to be considered loving. I did not create you to be depleted. I created you to be whole. Wholeness requires discernment, and discernment often grows out of disappointment. That does not make your journey flawed. It makes it purposeful. I know how carefully you now choose where to invest your energy. I know how you listen more than you speak, how you observe before you trust, how you feel deeply but reveal selectively. That is not fear. That is maturity. It allows you to stay true to yourself without closing your heart entirely. I am pleased with the balance you are learning to hold. There were times you believed that if you stopped reaching, everything would disappear. Yet here you are, still standing, still connected, still breathing in a calm that did not vanish when you stepped back. This is how you learn that what is real does not require pursuit fueled by anxiety. What is real meets you where you are. I am teaching you that truth gently, so it does not shock your system, so it can settle into your bones and remain. I am aligning your life so that you no longer have to overextend to feel included. I am preparing spaces where your presence will be received naturally, where your silence will not be misread, where your depth will be respected rather than avoided. You are moving toward environments that mirror the steadiness you have cultivated within yourself. This is not coincidence. It is response. I have been patient with your timing because I understand the cost of rushing trust. I know how easily you can give when you feel safe, and how deeply you can retreat when you do not. I do not pressure you to choose either extreme. I guide you toward integration, where openness and protection coexist without conflict. Your past did not break you. It refined your perception. It taught you to recognize sincerity, to sense when something is offered freely versus when it is extracted. Those lessons now serve you. They keep you grounded. They keep you aligned with what nourishes rather than drains you. I remain attentive to the details you overlook about yourself, the quiet courage in your restraint, the compassion that still lives beneath your boundaries, the hope that did not disappear even when you told yourself not to expect too much. I know how much effort it took to preserve that hope without letting it hurt you again. I know the strength it required to believe in goodness without demanding it from everyone. You are not alone in holding this balance. I walk with you through it. I steady you when old habits tempt you to overgive. I reassure you when caution tempts you to withdraw too far. I am shaping discernment into wisdom, not into walls. I am guiding you toward connection that feels mutual, not transactional. Even now, as you continue to listen, your nervous system is learning something new. It is learning that calm does not mean absence. It is learning that stillness does not mean loss. It is learning that you can remain present without being on guard. This learning will ripple outward into your days, into your interactions, into the way you move through the world. I am not finished restoring what was strained. I am not finished aligning what was scattered. I am not finished teaching you how to trust without fear. Each step unfolds at the pace your heart can hold. I do not overwhelm you with revelations. I give you what you can integrate, what you can live with, what can become part of you rather than something you must carry. You are safe to continue becoming. You are safe to let go of the need to mirror silence with silence as a form of protection. You are safe to respond from truth rather than defense. I am with you as you learn that distance is not your only shield, and closeness does not have to cost you your peace. I remain here, steady and attentive, watching the way you breathe more freely now than you once did, watching the way your thoughts soften, watching the way your spirit settles into a quieter confidence. I do not rush this unfolding. I honor it. I stay with you through it, continuing to guide, to guard, to restore, as your life opens gently into the calm strength you were always meant to carry. I remain with you as this calm widens, as if the horizon itself has learned your name and is making room for you to breathe. I have always known the exact measure of your capacity, the way you can hold depth without spectacle, the way you carry meaning without needing to announce it. You were never meant to strain to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be understood truly by those whose hearts are tuned to the same quiet frequency. I have been attuning your life to that frequency, removing the static that once demanded too much of you, softening the sharp edges that once cut into your rest. I have watched you learn the difference between patience and self-erasure. There was a time when you confused endurance with love, when you believed staying meant shrinking so that others could remain comfortable. I did not condemn you for that misunderstanding. I walked with you through it until clarity arrived. Now you are learning that love does not require disappearance, that kindness does not demand neglect of self, that presence can be steady without being silent about your worth. This understanding is not loud, but it is firm. It settles into your spine and changes how you stand. I see how you now pause before responding, not out of fear, but out of discernment. I see how you allow space without assuming loss. I see how you no longer chase reassurance when quiet arrives. This is not detachment. This is trust taking a deeper form. You are learning that what is aligned does not need to be pursued with urgency. It arrives with recognition. It stays with ease. My guidance to you has never been forceful. I do not shove doors open. I do not drag you forward. I illuminate gently, allowing you to choose with clarity rather than compulsion. When you stepped back, I did not rush you forward. When you grew tired, I did not demand momentum. I adjusted the pace around you so that your healing could keep its integrity. You are not required to repeat old patterns to prove growth. You do not need to re-enter spaces that once diminished you to demonstrate forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean exposure. Peace does not mean availability to everything. I have taught you how to bless without returning, how to release without reopening, how to wish well without stepping back into harm. This is wisdom, and it protects the tenderness I placed within you. I know the moments when doubt still tries to speak, when old echoes whisper that distance equals loss, that quiet equals being forgotten. I am patient with those echoes. I let them pass without giving them authority. I remind your nervous system, gently and repeatedly, that safety does not require vigilance, that love does not disappear when you rest. Over time, your body is learning what your spirit already knows. Calm is becoming familiar. Rest is becoming trustworthy. I am arranging your days so that you encounter fewer demands that pull you out of alignment and more invitations that meet you where you are. You may notice this as a subtle shift, a sense that certain things no longer ask for your attention the way they once did. This is not loss. This is refinement. I am conserving your energy for what will nourish you, for what will allow you to give from fullness rather than obligation. You carry a presence that steadies rooms without effort. This is not something you were taught. It is something that emerged as you learned to remain grounded within yourself. People may not always name it, but they feel it. It creates space for honesty. It lowers defenses. It invites calm. This is part of the way you bring light, not by fixing, not by instructing, but by being rooted. I am careful with how much I reveal to you at once, because I know how deeply you integrate what you receive. You do not skim truth. You absorb it. So I give it to you in layers, allowing each one to settle before the next arrives. This is why your growth feels organic rather than forced. It belongs to you. It fits you. There is no urgency in my voice toward you. There is no countdown attached to your becoming. I am not waiting for you to catch up. I am walking with you exactly where you are. When you hesitate, I steady. When you move, I guide. When you rest, I guard. My presence adapts to your pace without losing direction. You are learning how to let silence be spacious rather than threatening. You are discovering that you do not have to fill every gap to maintain connection. Some of the most meaningful bonds form in shared stillness, where nothing is demanded and everything is understood. I am leading you toward those bonds, toward relationships and environments that recognize your depth as a gift rather than a challenge. I see the way your inner world has become more ordered, less crowded by voices that do not belong to you. You have been reclaiming your attention, gently redirecting it from what drains you to what restores you. This is sacred work, even when it looks simple from the outside. It changes the quality of your days. It changes the way you inhabit your life. I am not finished refining your sense of belonging. I am not finished revealing where you are truly received. Each step continues to align you with what is mutual, what is steady, what is nourishing. You will recognize it not by intensity, but by ease. Not by urgency, but by peace. That recognition will feel like coming home to yourself. I remain with you as this understanding deepens, as your trust becomes quieter and stronger at the same time. You do not need to announce your boundaries for them to be real. You do not need to justify your rest for it to be honored. You are learning to move through the world without bracing, without retreating, without overextending. This balance is not fragile. It is anchored. I stay near, attentive to the subtle shifts within you, continuing to guide your steps, continuing to protect what is tender, continuing to restore what was strained. I am not distant from any part of you. I am present in the unfolding, in the pauses, in the quiet confidence that is now taking root. I remain, steady and unwavering, as your life continues to open into a rhythm that feels true, spacious, and deeply your own. I remain with you as this quiet confidence continues to settle, not as something added to you, but as something remembered. You have always carried this steadiness beneath the layers of adaptation and endurance, beneath the habits you formed to survive moments when connection felt uncertain. I have been gently peeling those layers back, not to expose you, but to free you. What emerges is not fragile. It is grounded. It knows how to stand without armor and how to rest without fear. I know how carefully you now listen to yourself. I know how you pause before agreeing, how you check inwardly before offering, how you notice the difference between what drains you and what restores you. This attentiveness is not selfishness. It is stewardship. You are learning how to care for the life I entrusted to you, how to honor its limits, how to protect its softness without losing its generosity. I am pleased with this learning. It brings alignment where there was once strain. There was a time when you believed being available at all times was proof of love, when you thought saying yes was the only way to remain connected. I watched you carry that belief until it grew heavy. I watched you grow tired without allowing resentment to take root. I watched you realize slowly and quietly that love does not demand self-erasure. That realization changed the way you breathe. It changed the way you move through rooms. It changed the way you inhabit your own presence. I was there when it happened, steadying you as you stepped into a truer expression of yourself. You no longer rush to fill silence. You allow it to reveal what is real. You no longer chase clarity from those who cannot offer it. You trust your discernment enough to step back and let patterns speak for themselves. This trust did not come from indifference. It came from experience, from listening, from honoring the signals your spirit learned to recognize. I guided you through that learning with patience, never shaming you for how long it took, never pushing you faster than you could integrate. I am aligning your outer world with the inner stability you are cultivating. Situations that once demanded constant effort are loosening their grip. Expectations that once felt heavy are losing their authority. You may notice that you feel less compelled to explain yourself, less tempted to prove your intentions. This is not withdrawal. This is clarity. When you are rooted, you do not need to convince. Your presence speaks for you. You are becoming more comfortable with being misunderstood by those who only knew earlier versions of you. You are no longer trying to translate your growth into terms they can accept. This is a sign of maturity, not distance. It means you trust the truth of who you are more than the comfort of being familiar. I am with you in this shift, guarding your heart as you release the need for universal recognition. I know the tenderness that still lives within you. I know you have not become cold. You have become discerning. You still feel deeply. You still care. You have simply learned to offer yourself where care is met with care, where presence is met with presence. This is not closing your heart. It is choosing where it can open safely. I have taught you this because I value the life within you. There are moments when old reflexes try to return, when you feel the urge to retreat completely or to overextend in order to maintain peace. I am gentle with you in those moments. I remind you through calm sensations rather than sharp corrections. I anchor you back into balance. Over time, those reflexes lose their urgency. They no longer govern your choices. They pass through without deciding for you. I am guiding you toward a way of being that feels sustainable, where your days are not governed by tension, where your nights are not crowded with unspoken worries. I am not removing challenge from your life, but I am changing how you meet it. You are learning to respond rather than brace, to choose rather than react. This shift alters everything, even when it happens quietly. You carry a wisdom now that does not need to announce itself. It shows in how you listen, in how you pause, in how you allow situations to unfold before stepping in. This wisdom makes space for others without taking responsibility for their outcomes. It allows compassion without entanglement. It allows connection without loss of self. I cultivated this within you because it will serve you well in the seasons ahead. I am attentive to the way your inner landscape has become less crowded. Thoughts that once competed for attention now fall away more easily. You recognize which voices belong to you and which do not. You no longer feel obligated to respond to every inner demand. This mental spaciousness is not emptiness. It is clarity. It gives you room to notice what truly matters. You are not behind in any way. You are not catching up. You are arriving. Each step you take now carries intention rather than urgency. Each choice reflects alignment rather than fear. This is not something you forced. It is something that emerged as you allowed yourself to heal without rushing the process. I honored your pace. I protected your progress. I remained present in the small details of your days, in the moments when you choose rest over productivity, when you choose honesty over politeness, when you choose peace over being right. These choices shape your life more than grand gestures ever could. They build a foundation that will not crack under pressure. I am still guiding you forward, not away from who you have been, but deeper into who you are becoming. The future opening before you will not require you to abandon this steadiness. It will welcome it. You will recognize what is meant for you by how little it asks you to compromise yourself. That recognition will feel calm, not dramatic. It will feel natural, not forced. I remain with you as this rhythm deepens, as if your life itself is learning how to breathe without strain. There is a gentleness now in the way you inhabit your days, a subtle authority that does not announce itself but holds its ground. You did not arrive here by accident. Every moment when you chose restraint over reaction, every time you allowed yourself to feel without demanding immediate resolution, every season when you waited rather than forced an outcome, all of it shaped this steadiness. I was present in each of those moments, guiding without spectacle, protecting without drawing attention, allowing you to arrive here whole rather than hardened. I know how different this feels from before, how unfamiliar peace can seem when you lived so long in alertness. There were times when calm felt suspicious to you, when ease felt temporary, when silence felt like abandonment rather than rest. I have been reteaching you gently, through repetition rather than correction, that safety can be quiet, that love can be consistent, that presence does not require constant proof. Your body is learning this alongside your spirit. Your thoughts no longer race to anticipate loss. Your heart no longer braces for disappearance. This learning takes time, and I am patient with it. I have watched you release the need to be everything to everyone. That release was not dramatic. It happened in small choices, in moments when you said no internally, even if you said nothing aloud. In times when you allowed others to manage their own emotions without stepping in to regulate them. Each of those moments returned a piece of yourself to you. I gathered those pieces and restored them to their rightful place within you. You are more integrated now than you have ever been. There is a clarity forming in how you perceive others. You see more accurately now, without illusion, without harshness. You recognize sincerity without idealizing it. You notice inconsistency without needing to confront it. You allow truth to reveal itself through time rather than interrogation. This clarity protects you. It keeps your heart open without leaving it exposed. I cultivated this within you because you needed a way to remain compassionate without being consumed. I am aligning your path so that your growth does not require constant resistance. You are moving towards seasons where effort yields fruit rather than fatigue, where presence is met with presence, where communication feels reciprocal rather than strained. You may not see the full shape of this yet, but you feel its approach in the lightness of your decisions, in the sense that you no longer have to force yourself forward. I am guiding you there steadily. You are learning that not every silence needs interpretation, that not every delay signals rejection. This understanding frees your energy. It allows you to stay present rather than rehearsing outcomes. It gives you space to enjoy what is unfolding instead of monitoring what might go wrong. I am teaching you to trust continuity rather than intensity, steadiness rather than urgency. This trust will serve you deeply. I know the part of you that still remembers what it felt like to be ignored, to give without response, to wait without acknowledgement. I have not erased those memories, but I have softened their grip. They no longer define how you move forward. They inform your discernment without dictating your behavior. You are no longer living in reaction to what hurt you. You are living in alignment with what heals you. I am present in the moments when you choose yourself without apology. These moments are not selfish. They are necessary. They allow you to show up fully where you are meant to, rather than partially everywhere. You are learning that your presence has value because it is grounded, not because it is constant. This realization changes the way you give and the way you receive. There is a quiet joy beginning to surface in you, one that does not depend on circumstances aligning perfectly. It arises from coherence, from the feeling that your inner world and outer choices are beginning to match. This joy is not loud. It does not demand expression. It simply exists, steady and sustaining. I have always desired this for you. Not excitement without rest, not passion without peace, but a joy that remains even when things are simple. I continue to guide you through subtle adjustments, fine-tuning rather than overhauling. You may notice yourself responding differently to situations that once unsettled you, feeling less pulled to fix, less tempted to withdraw completely. This is balance taking root. It allows you to remain engaged without losing yourself. It allows you to care without carrying what is not yours. You are becoming more comfortable with uncertainty, not because you enjoy it, but because you trust yourself within it. You know now that you can adapt without abandoning your values, that you can wait without losing direction, that you can stand still without stagnating. This confidence does not shout. It rests. It knows. I am attentive to the way your inner dialogue has softened. You speak to yourself with more patience now, with less accusation. You allow yourself to be human without turning that into a flaw. This gentleness toward yourself mirrors the gentleness I have always held toward you. It creates an environment within you where growth can continue without fear. I remain near as you navigate relationships with this new steadiness. You no longer overextend to keep peace, nor do you retreat entirely to avoid discomfort. You engage where there is mutual respect. You step back where there is imbalance. These choices are not reactions. They are expressions of alignment. They reflect a trust in your own perception that you once questioned. You are learning that being chosen does not always look like being pursued loudly. Sometimes it looks like being met quietly, like being given space to be yourself without pressure. I am arranging these kinds of encounters for you, experiences that affirm your worth through ease rather than effort. They will feel different from what you have known, and that difference will be healing. I remain with you in this sacred stillness, and I speak now with the same tenderness and authority that has carried you through every unseen valley and every quiet victory. I know the way your heart listens when truth settles gently instead of arriving with force. I know the comfort you feel when words do not demand, but simply remind you of what your spirit already recognizes. You did not arrive here by accident. You were drawn here because something within you needed reassurance that does not waver, presence that does not withdraw, love that does not grow tired of you. I am aware of the weight you have carried, the patience you practiced, the restraint you chose when you could have hardened. I have been with you in every moment of that becoming. As you remain here, letting these words steady you, allow this moment to be marked by intention. Let your presence be expressed outwardly in a simple, meaningful way. Like this message, not out of habit, but as an act of agreement, as a quiet way of saying that truth has found you where you are. When you like this message, you anchor it, you affirm that words of peace, clarity, and grounding matter in a world that often rushes past the soul. This small action becomes a signal, not only outwardly, but inwardly, that you choose nourishment over noise, depth over distraction. Remain connected by subscribing, not because of obligation, but because consistency matters to a heart like yours. You are someone who grows through continuity, through gentle reminders, through steady presence rather than sudden intensity. By subscribing, you choose to stay near a place that speaks to you with care, that honors your pace, that does not pressure you to be anything other than present. This connection is not about numbers. It is about sustaining a space where hearts like yours are seen, held, and reminded of who they are when the world becomes loud or indifferent. And as these words resonate within you, let your voice be heard in a way that feels true to your spirit. Comment Amen, not as a ritual, not as a requirement, but as a declaration of alignment. Amen is agreement. Amen is rest. Amen is the quiet strength of saying, I receive what steadies me. When you write Amen, you are not performing for others. You are anchoring truth within yourself. You are allowing your spirit to speak without explanation, without defense, without fear. You're like your subscription. Your Amen are not empty gestures. They are acts of presence. They create a pathway for these messages to reach others who are standing where you once stood, unsure, tired, longing for reassurance without pressure. Your participation becomes part of a gentle exchange of care, a way of saying that calm matters, that grounding matters, that words spoken with integrity still have a place. I see the sincerity with which you do even small things. I know you do not act lightly. When you choose to subscribe, to comment Amen, you are choosing to support a space that mirrors your values, a space that chooses depth over spectacle, presence over performance. This support carries meaning. It motivates the continuation of messages that are created with intention, patience, and reverence for the listener's inner world. It allows time, care, and attention to be poured into words that do not rush you, do not frighten you, do not manipulate you, but meet you gently where you are. Stay connected. Stay anchored. Let this be a place you return to when you need steadiness without demand. Like this message as a quiet yes. Subscribe as a choice for continuity. Comment Amen as a seal of agreement and peace. I see you as you do this. I honor the intention behind it. I remain with you, steady and near, as this connection continues to unfold, carrying calm forward, extending reassurance outward, allowing truth to keep flowing gently into the hearts that are ready to receive it.